So we're gonna start by anchoring as much as we can of this pin. This is gonna provide a lot of the side-to-side support for the trap, and it's gonna act as a counterpoint to the one wooden rod in this. So there's our TP shape, right? So I'm gonna put that in at a low angle. Step on it a little bit. Sometimes you just gotta try till you find a spot.
Danielle feels your pain.
Yeah,
This is like your
particular
life?
area is super rocky.
Yeah, it's rocky. Oh, man, we set these up in an area that had been where there was gravel before, and it was impossible.
Yeah.
So that's hard. But it's really important to find a spot where, when the wind is blowing the trap,
Right.
that thing's going to offer some counterpoint stability. And then I usually want the tip of that not to go through the opening at the top, but to sort of catch close to the top, or catch a pouch right there. So get it mostly in place. Turn out the edges of the skirt. Yeah, go ahead. And we'll use the staples to make sure that's where we need it. So, you know, one thing when you're setting this up, you want to make sure that the entirety of the cow pad that you're measuring is in there, but that we're not collecting other cow pies, right? And you'll see sometimes there's a manure right there, and then there's the one you're doing an experiment on. And if that happens, you have to position this so that the skirt is excluding the second cow pie. And so sometimes you'll see the best cow pie ever, but there's another one so close that you're like, can I separate those with a trap? And if you can, go for it. But if you can't, then don't. So I like to kick in the end a little bit just to get some support. But I heard this one, you heard that, it was complaining.
Yeah.
We've broken a few of those, so maybe don't hold as high as I was just holding. So that combination should be most of what we need to hold it up. But additionally, we're gonna put some tension on the base by pulling out the skirt and stapling in with sod staples. Some of these already have holes in them. You're welcome to use them, or find a new spot to punch through. Here, I think having a hammer, and then when you come out, a device to pull them out is worth bringing the tools. But once you have the first couple in, then the next two should really almost be pulling against your first two. So now we're setting the last two. We want tension. So let's pull on that, and it looks like mine wasn't in well enough. But with a little bit of tension on this cone, it holds it open. It also provides stability so that in a really big windstorm, it doesn't tip. And I just go with, I'm seeing a lot of grass pushing up here, so maybe that's a smart place to anchor it, because otherwise the grass will lift it. You put a nice angle on it when you sink it, and it's harder for the net to slide up. Whereas that one, which is almost straight now, you see how that screening just slid right up the staple, and now it's not snug. So we could do better than what I did the first time by putting that back in the ground at an angle.
Right. The holes are like big.
Yeah, and it's okay. If you need to make new holes, it's okay. All right. Now those are set. Steph, would you just look around the trap? Tell me if there's any places where you feel like a fly's natural instinct to go upward might lead it out instead of into the top?
There's there's a couple holes here.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if they would try to get through this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
They, you know, most of them will never find that little hole. So I'm okay with that. A little bit worried about the uphill side.
oh, this one, yeah.
Notice how it's just floating above the grass,
Yeah.
and because of the slope of the hill, you know, a fly that's emerging right there may make the wrong turn. So that's where having some extras, more than just 4 per trap, it's a good idea just to and remember, pull it out a little bit. You know, you can add to the stability while you're doing it. Press down and then angle it. Boom. Nice. So these traps are not foolproof, right? Some flies will probably escape, but what we want is a reliable capture of most of the flies.
Okay.
Okay, and the top is going to be symbolic of that too. So you want to open this a little bit, make sure it's not so crunched that they can't get out. That usually is not an issue, but and then I actually think if this is rounded, it's going to fit the sleeve a little bit better, which is a perfect round because of the lid glued into it. You can round that. And just set that on and just kind of scrunch it in place. Again, this is not going to be a perfect one-way seal. A few lucky flies might come up and then walk out, but we want it to be almost like a continuous road up into the jar.
Yeah.
Once they clear this edge, they will be stuck because their biology is to go up and toward the light, and so very few insects should be escaping back by retracing their steps. But this weight is part of why we need all that stability, because this makes the whole thing prone to fall and settle. And I've seen storms flatten these things, so you know, just expect the worst.
Okay.
So there's the trap.